Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio today. It's John Foley, and he's the founder of Foley Law and Tax Group. John, welcome.
Thank you.
John, you specialize in tax and estate planning.
For the most part, correct.
Yes, and I think it's important to meet you because I think sometimes you're underappreciated. It's complicated, and it's often times when we're filled with grief or fear, and we get to come talk to you. So tell me a little bit about what you practice.
Well, we've been practicing our firm's been in business since 1992, and it's a real I would say variety of services tailored to individuals and closely held businesses and families. But, it starts with sometimes the estate planning or tax planning, business formation, as well as estate and trust administration when it comes to that point, as well as real estate transactions.
So you kind of help us through a lot of big things in our lives.
Those are the big things, yes.
Yes, those are. Let's see. I say, okay, we got business formation, we've got buying a home, we've got trust and wills. So that's a little tough. And so you've been practicing since 1992. So you've got a fair amount of experience, and laws changed a lot. So that's why it's gotten so much more complicated these days. It
has. The tax laws, in particular, constantly change because Congress uses that as a vehicle to steer our behavior.
That's right. Now you are located in the Naperville area?
Currently located at 600 South Washington, although we're going to be moving soon to 549 South Washington, but just a short walk to the main part of town.
That's awesome. Well, it helps to be center of Naperville, and I think when people are looking for an attorney, you're helping us with big purchases and very intimate and close things, with your practice. So I think it's important to know that person, have that person be part of our neighborhood and our community. Yeah,
we really, over the years, a lot of our clients, it's almost like we become an extended member of their family. We sometimes get invited to their own personal family events, and they keep us abreast of what's going on with them personally. But there's a huge amount of trust that gets built up over time, just because of the nature of what we do for our clients. And quite frankly, I enjoy that. I like people, my staff, I think all enjoy working with our clients. And it's nice to see them accomplish their goals, their family grow, especially closely held businesses, seeing young children eventually reach adults and become adults and get involved in the business.
That's excellent. So tell me a little bit about the estate planning. I think most of us don't know the difference between a will and a trust, or if we need both, and when we should be talking to a lawyer about that.
Well, yeah, and that depends, and also with younger couples, for instance, with small children, maybe at that point in their lives they should have wills where they're naming guardians for the minor children, God forbid, if something, a disaster was to happen. Then as they become older or their assets are accumulating, a trust makes a lot of sense, a living trust, which would be the cornerstone of the estate plan. They still would have a will. But with a living trust, you can avoid probate. A lot of people think that just by having a will, that avoids probate. That's not the case. It just means you have a written direction that the court follows versus following the statute. So a living trust really is the best way to plan your estate. And quite frankly, we can also deal with disability in a trust, which we can't deal with in a will. And with medicine being as it is, and we're all more likely to be disabled before dying. Right,
and it's all a tough topic. And so, I think sometimes with small children, you are motivated or out of necessity to do that. But most of us, think, gosh, if I put it down on paper, I'm going to get struck by lightning.
Right. I always said if I ever was going to advertise, I would advertise at a travel agency or a maternity ward because that usually motivates people to get a will or a trust done.
There you go. Tell me a little bit about your typical tax client.
Typical tax clients, we have a lot of clients here in Naperville. Naperville is such a great community, and the residents generally are very successful financially. So, the typical tax client, will have investments that we have to understand to properly reflect on their tax return. A lot of them have trusts or business entities that also may impact their return. But and we have a lot of older clients. Probably, the younger generation is a little bit more computer literate, and with the software out there, they are doing their own returns, which is great for them, as long as they don't get in over their heads. I've represented clients at the IRS, and I've walked in, and my first words are, "I'm sorry, but my client TurboTaxed themselves."
Right.
But typical tax client usually has some sort of unusual twist to their tax situation where they need a higher level of service other than just going to, a retail tax preparer.
Right. Well, and you kind of handle a lot of different things, so you're a little bit of a one-stop shop, too.
Well, yeah, and as far as tax returns, we do a lot of individual returns, but we also do a lot of fiduciary returns, which are the returns for trusts and estates, as well as business returns for corporations and partnerships, and some foundations as well.
Well, and I think that's nice, and I think it goes back to trust, that once you meet that lawyer, in this case we meet you, John, it's nice to have other things you can help me with, because I feel connected with you. I feel like I trust you, and so I would assume that would be the first call I would make anyway if I had another need. I'd be like, "Hey, John, what do I do now?"
Right, and even though we do offer a variety of services, we certainly can't offer all services. But we like to consider ourselves as our clients' general counsel, their tax counsel, estate planning counsel, and general counsel, where we can help steer them in the direction they need to go if they need a more specialty legal service or other type of professional service.
I think that's huge. When we were talking off camera, you told me about a piece of advice your mom gave you, and I thought that was very sweet.
Well, yeah, sometimes the things you learn when you're a child. But that advice was to treat other people like you'd like to be treated yourself, and I still think that's important. And we try to do that. Life's too short. I'd rather see a client smiling and happy with our services and recommending us to their friends and family than a disappointed client. So we really try to do what's in the best interest of our client all the time and keep them happy.
John, thanks for stopping by. We wish you continued success.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll be right back with more Business Connection.